I'm your host, Leonard. I play Alternative 2.0 here on Music in the Key of Life. That was Thought Contagion from Muse. Coming up, music from 30 Seconds to Mars, 311, The Offspring, and some AJR. But now, live in the moment.
The Associated Press has found that more than 900 clergy members accused of child sexual abuse are missing from the list of credibly accused priests released by the Roman Catholic Church. Victims' advocates had long criticized the church for not making public the names of credibly accused priests. Now, despite the release of nearly 5,300 names, critics say the lists are still far from complete. More than 100 of the former clergy members not named on any list had been charged with sexual crimes, including rape, solicitation, and receiving or viewing child pornography. Inclement weather is bearing down on the country this weekend. A winter storm is making its way across the Midwest into the Northeast. David Roth is a weather forecaster for the National Weather Service. He describes how the system might shift over the next week.
By the time we actually get to New Year's Eve, the heavy snow problems shift to northern Maine, and with a system coming into the Pacific Northwest, you start seeing heavy snow at elevation across portions of northern Idaho and the Washington Cascades.
I'm Len Rideout, No More, No Why, on News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM WTAX, Springfield's #1 local news.
Another hour of Music in the Key of Life is upon us. Got some music from 2018 this hour. Got a song by Imagine Dragons called Natural, 21 Pilots, Jump Suite, Dennis Lloyd with Nevermind. We're going to slip in some political talk. First we'll hear from the right wing. Rush Limbaugh is going to represent the right today. And then later on we're going to hear from Democracy Now!, that show on the Pacifica radio network. And let's see, other music from Coldplay, Clocks, Pumped Up Kicks from Foster the People. Music in the Key of Life on 88.3 WQNA.
From the WTAX News Center, I'm Len Rideout. During the historic summit between President Trump and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, Kim pledged to completely denuclearize the country. President Trump, in turn, said he was halting the joint military exercises with South Korea and wants to remove the U.S. troops stationed in South Korea. Former U.S. Special Envoy to the six-party talks, Joseph DeTrani, says that's a big first step.
That's a very major, if you will, confidence-building measure on the part of the president to give North Korea those security assurances, because that's the key, security for North Korea.
We could be watching World Cup soccer in the U.S. in 2026. CBS's Steve Futterman reports.
We will learn overnight if the U.S. will host the 2026 World Cup. The U.S. is part of a joint bid that also involves Mexico and Canada. The only other country trying to get the 2026 event is Morocco, and most expect the American bid to win. 60 of the 80 matches would be held in the U.S. in 9 American cities.
A Northwest Indiana couple has been charged with neglect after a young boy they were babysitting found a gun in a bedroom and fatally shot himself. 24-year-old Rachel Lynn Griffin and 29-year-old Brett A. Beatty of Crown Point were charged today in Lake Superior Court with neglect of a dependent, resulting in death of a dependent. 4-year-old Eric Cole of Wheatfield died August 5, 2017, after he found a handgun in a case under a bed in a bedroom at the couple's home. An affidavit shows Griffin told the boy and his sister to stay in the bedroom while she used the bathroom, then heard a bang and found the boy bleeding. Beatty, who wasn't home, told investigators he thought the gun wasn't loaded. A police sergeant is being honored for his quick actions in rescuing a young child from a busy roadway in Chicago. The Naperville Police Department posted dash cam video of last month's rescue by Sergeant Anthony Menino on its Facebook page Monday. The department's post says the child escaped his mother's watchful eye and wandered along Route 59 as traffic whizzed by. Menino, who was on patrol, stopped his police car to block a lane of traffic, ran after the child, and scooped him up, telling him, "You're okay." The child wasn't injured. Police say he lived nearby, and he was quickly reunited with his mother. No charges were sought in the case. The police department says Menino last week received its life-saving award for his efforts. Storm Center 17 forecast this afternoon, cloudy with a possibility of a few storms. High in the mid to upper 80s. Tonight, partly cloudy, a stray storm early, low around 70s. Tomorrow, sunny, high in the low to mid 80s. Thursday and Friday, partly cloudy. High in the mid-80s Thursday and low 90s on Friday. And this weekend will be sunny, high in the mid-90s. No more, no why. On News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM WTAX. I'm Len Rideout.
Community radio offers a lot to any city. The great diversity of song, interview and news programs like we air on WQNA. Larry Corley has an interview and jazz program on today, Thursday, from 3 to 7 p.m. The news we carry at the top of most hours is from FSN, Feature Story News out of Washington. Independent FSN has 26 global news bureaus. WQNA is blessed to broadcast true international news that can't be labeled as right-wing or left-wing. And then there's the career aspect of community radio, in that those aspiring to become broadcasting professionals can start out on WQNA. Chris Murphy of Midwest Family Broadcasting, WMAY, WNNS, and US 92.7 was a DJ here at 88.3. And yours truly has a part-time fill-in afternoon gig as a news anchor over at WTAX News Radio 1240. If you are looking to break into commercial broadcasting, we might be able to help. I know the management here has a difficult time finding hours that you could DJ, but if you are persistent, as I was, you might just get in. It took me about 6 months, but maybe I can help out just a bit. Just contact me, 416-9393. I, for one, am very thankful to American Community Radio and WQNA in particular. I've been running this program since just last December, so thanks for tuning in.
The Winans on WECE in Boston. Music from David Meese. He'll take us up to 3 or 4 or maybe 5 in a row from Sandy Patty at the top of the hour. Stay tuned. This is Music in the Key of Life.
News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM, WTAX, Springfield.
This week's USDA crop report shows the season is moving into a new phase. Good afternoon, I'm Len Rideout. That story coming up. Plus, school officials in central Illinois have decided to remove Woodrow Wilson's name from an elementary school. Those stories and more follow a CBS News update on News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM WTAX. This afternoon, high in the mid to upper 80s and cloudy. Tonight, partly cloudy, a stray shower early. Springfield's number one local news is next. It's 3 o'clock.
Let's do a double take of Cage the Elephant. This is Ain't No Rest for the Wicked.
News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM, WTAX, Springfield. A Capital Radio Group station.
From the WTAX News Center, I'm Len Rideout. Here's what's happening. Springfield and the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs Saturday commemorated Pearl Harbor. WTAX's Dave Dahl was there.
The program at the Elks Lodge at Lake Springfield covered plenty of veterans. Gwen Deal of the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs made sure more were remembered.
You may have noticed the small table in a place of honor. It's set for one. This table is our way of symbolizing the fact that members of our profession of arms are missing from our midst.
The greatest generation is mostly gone from this world, with few to attend ceremonies like this one, but still, the nation remembers. At Lake Springfield, Dave Dahl, WTAX News.
More intrigue into the firing of Chicago's ex-police superintendent Eddie Johnson involves a female who was a member of his security detail. WTAX's Scott Mulford has more.
The woman has been accused of damaging a cell phone that investigators asked to examine as part of their probe of the incident that led to Johnson being fired last week. A police spokesman said the department realized the phone was damaged and the SIM card missing when the woman turned it in when she was transferred. The Chicago Tribune and the Sun-Times, citing sources they have not identified, said video shows Johnson with a woman who was not his wife the night of October 16th at a popular Chicago bar and restaurant. I'm Scott Mulford, WTAX News.
The University of Illinois campuses have adopted a new box blind policy where it will no longer require students to disclose their criminal background during the initial application process, arguing that it discouraged potential students from applying. a student-led coalition urged the university to remove questions about an individual's criminal and disciplinary history. For safety concerns or potential threats, the policy still allows the university to ask about any criminal history, but only after an admissions decision has been made. WTAX News.
I have a special request now from my wife down in Divernon today. Mattis Yahoo with One Day.
WQNA's Music in the Key of Life.
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 You're listening to Music in the Key of Life.
Friggin' Music in the Key of Life.
That Music in the Key of Life show.
Music in the Key of Life.
A man and a woman from Alabama were charged Saturday with killing 3 people in southwest Illinois. 41-year-old Brady Witcher and 28-year-old Brittany McMillan face 9 counts of first-degree murder in the shooting deaths of 59-year-old Shara Yates and her 38-year-old son, Andrew Brooks, in their home, along with another man, 32-year-old John McMillan. Police in Bethalto, Illinois, discovered the bodies Thursday night after they were asked to check on the well-being of the residents. No More, No Why on News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM WTAX. Springfield's #1 local news. I'm Len Rideout for WTAX News. Good Sunday morning to you.
.3 WQNA, Music in the Key of Life. That set included Mike Shinoda, Crossing a Line, Mount Joy, Silver Lining, Churches with Miracle, King Princess 1950, and Young the Giant, Simplify. I have queued up a song by Just Loud called Electrified, but before that, how about a little EDM, Sandra Van Dorn and Belle Humble, No Words, and then Dead Mouse or Dead Mau 5 and Cascade, I Remember, 88.3.
Radio 1260 WEZE in Boston. Another crossover artist there, Maria McKee and Lone Justice with Shelter, the title cut from their 1986 album. Well, Maria McKee, Denise Williams, Janine Graff, Rochelle Harris, and Sandy Patty all in this last half hour. Women are taking over this afternoon here on WEZE. Wonder what my wife would think about that. This is Radio 1260, Music in the Key of Life, with something now from a male artist, Russ Taff. This is from his Metals album, I'm Not Alone. This is Music in the Key of Life. From the WTAX News Center, I'm Len Rideout. Here's what's happening. Central Illinois State Representative Dan Calkins, appearing on WAND-TV, looks back at one of the big bills of 2019.
One of the things that, we passed this gas tax bill, infrastructure bill, and where does that money get spent? How do we really get that money down to the township level, the county level? We have roads that are in desperate need of repair, and this is how the farmers get their, crops into the elevators. It's how it moves about.
On another bill, Calkins says the $15 minimum wage will hurt business, and he would like to change that law. Saturday, around 6 p.m., Springfield police responded to a report of a subject that had discharged a firearm in the parking lot of the White Oaks Mall. The suspect was taken into custody without incident. There are no reported injuries. The investigation is still active, and more details will be released as they become available. Anyone with information concerning this or other incidents is asked to call the Springfield Police Department at 217-788-8311 and or the Sangamon-Menard County Crime Stoppers at 217-788-8427. A $5 million bond has been set for a Cullum man accused of killing his wife, son, and neighbor. This story from WAND-TV. Clifford Brewer faces 6 counts of first-degree murder, 2 each for the victims, his wife Shirley Brewer, son Christian Brewer, and neighbor Norman Walker. Illinois State Police said he had told them he had been Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve and got into an argument with his wife when he got home. Brewer said he fell asleep that evening and woke up to find his wife, neighbor, and son all dead. Brewer is a correctional officer at the Pontiac Correctional Center. I'm Len Rideout. No More, No Why on News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM WTAX. Springfield's #1 local news.
Own only going to be a coalition while Trump was around.
This is my final show here on October the 18th. Music in the Key of Life will go off the air after today. It has been my pleasure to bring you music that matters, music with a message from today's alternative rock. Down the road, I may return to WQA. You never know. Someone who sounds like me may show up on other Springfield radio stations. Feel free to check in with the Music in the Key of Life Facebook page for updates or text me at 217-416-9393. Keep listening to The Edge, WQA 88.3 in Springfield. For about a year now, I've been your Music in the Key of Life host, Leonard. Thanks for listening. Again, you can text me, 217-416-9393. Thank you. We'll hear from the left in a little while. But right now, I'll give it all up. I'll depressurize. I need something human. This is Muse. Let's do a double play of Muse. We'll hear Mercy after Something Human. Music in the Key of Life.
Alternative 2.0 with Leonard.
Florence of Florence and the Machine was asked, where does the new album's title, High as Hope, come from? As they have a new album out right now.
You can say high as lots of things.
These next three stories are from our news partners at WAND-TV. A man who sexually assaulted a child he was babysitting pleaded guilty and will serve prison time. 58-year-old Clyde Kearns entered his negotiated guilty plea in court Friday. It was to a count of predatory criminal sexual assault of a child. 3 people were taken to the hospital Saturday night after a house fire in Champaign. The Champaign Fire Department says firefighters were called to a home at 9 Sherwood Court after 11 Saturday evening. When first responders got to the house, officials say there were flames and smoke coming from the residence. CFD says fire crews had to rescue 2 of the people inside the home, and the fire heavily damaged the house. Officials add that 2 occupants of the home were taken to an area hospital with life-threatening injuries. 1 was taken with non-life-threatening injuries, and a 4th person was not hurt. Comedian and actor Eddie Murphy made his much-anticipated return to Saturday Night Live this weekend. Murphy last performed on the sketch comedy show 35 years ago in 1984. I'm Len Rideout, News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM WTAX, Springfield's #1 local news.
This is Pete, and I'm from Flagstaff, and my take on life is you can do anything once. Might get you in trouble later, but what I choose to do is listen to 88.3 Music in the Key of Life with Leonard.
Live from the WEZE studios, this is Music in the Key of Life. On a rainy and yet sun's coming out now, beautiful afternoon, Saturday afternoon, Music in the Key of Life. We have something coming up for West Somerville, but first let me let you know about the concert schedule for Sun Power Productions. They have the second chapter of acts coming down there on September the 8th. That will be at the First Star of Jacob in New Haven, Connecticut. Tickets for that are $2. And then on September the 20th, Sheila Walsh will be at the Fellowship of Life Church in Cheshire, Connecticut. That, again, is $2. And for more information, you can call Joe LaHoyte. That's at area code 203-529-3202. 203-529-3202. That's Sun Power Productions, the concert agency of Southern New Hampshire, of Southern New England, I should say. Music in the Key of Life with a request for West Somerville. This is Petra. They'll be in the area October the 1st. From the WTAX News Center, I'm Len Rideout. Here's what's happening. A 73-year-old priest who had attended a Christmas party is charged in the death of a Chicago area teacher who was hit by a car. Police say the Reverend Paul Burak was taken into custody Thursday, a day after Margaret Roan Leja was killed while leaving the same party at a restaurant in Orland Park. Leja was a teacher at St. Michael's School in Orland Park. Burak is a retired parish pastor. He's charged with aggravated driving under the influence of alcohol and leaving the scene of a fatal accident. A day after a Decatur man lost his life to gun violence, police arrested his brother in relation to the shooting. This story from our news partners at WAND-TV. Decatur police arrested 20-year-old Avery Drake Friday morning after his brother, 21-year-old Jason Goodbread, passed away Thursday night. However, Drake is not being named the shooter. Police instead say he obstructed justice. Decatur police said they responded at 1:40 p.m. Thursday to the Decatur Inn after hearing a report of a shooting. Goodbread had been shot inside a hotel room. He was brought to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. According to the Macon County coroner, he was pronounced dead at 7:50 p.m. According to witnesses, there were 4 people inside the hotel room during the shooting: Goodbread, Drake, and 2 others. One witness claims one of those individuals shot Goodbread accidentally. The WAND weather forecast. Cloudy skies this morning, eventually some rain, a low of 46 degrees. For this afternoon, mostly cloudy, breezy, mild, high of 53. For the overnight hours, cloudy skies, a good chance of rain, a low of 46. And on Monday, mostly cloudy, some rain, a high of 50. I'm Len Rideout, WTAX News.
That was Get Out Alive by 3 Days Grace. How about a little Red Hot Chili Peppers?
From the WTAX News Center, I'm Len Rideout. This week's USDA crop report shows the season is moving into a new phase. According to Mark Schleusner of the USDA in Illinois,
soybean planting inched forward. It is now 96% finished. That compares to 92 last year and 85 normally. The rest of the soybeans that have not been planted probably are waiting for the wheat harvest. After the wheat harvest, that same field will be planted as soybeans.
Corn's 95% emerged. Both crops show more than 80% good to excellent ratings. Schleusner says any effects from the deluge at the start of this week would be reflected in next week's report. School officials in central Illinois have decided to remove Woodrow Wilson's name from an elementary school and instead honor the area's first black female doctor. The Peoria Public Schools Board voted Monday to rename Woodrow Wilson Primary School after Dr. Maud Sanders. District officials have been considering a name change since an employee raised concerns last year about the district's lack of minority representation. The primary school's name came under scrutiny due to Wilson's ties with racism and segregation. Board member Gregory Wilson says the move will expose more people to Sanders' accomplishments. Authorities say police officers in eastern Illinois fatally shot a man when he didn't drop a gun after they stopped his vehicle. The shooting happened around 2 a.m. this morning after Danville officers responded to a call about a man threatening someone with a gun. Danville Public Safety Director Larry Thomason says 2 officers spotted the man's vehicle and stopped it. Thomason says the driver was holding a gun and ignored orders to show his hands and leave the vehicle. Officials say the 34-year-old man was from Danville, but didn't immediately release his name. The officers weren't hurt in the confrontation. Illinois State Police investigators are reviewing the shooting. Weather this hour is brought to us by Hillier Storage and moving the things you love. Call 525-8550. High in the mid to upper 80s today. I'm Len Rideout, WTAX News.
This is Launchpad Infinity out in San Diego, California, and you are listening to my dad on Music in the Key Life.
Radio 1260 in Boston, WEZE music there from Leslie Phillips from her album Black and White in a Gray World, a song called You're the Same. You know, right now we have a pair of tickets to see Phil Keaggy and Brian Duncan. Both artists will have bands with them when they'll be here on September the 25th. And we'll take the 4th caller on our music line, 770-3030. Music now from Andy Pratt.
There are widows in their lonely road.
From the WTAX News Center, I'm Len Rideout. Here's what's happening. How about a book as a gift? How about a book about farming?
We've compiled a great list of books that are all 2019 imprints that have focuses on agriculture. So agriculture and rural Illinois, that's what we really like to promote.
Kevin Doherty of the Illinois Center for Agricultural Engagement is keeping track of this.
The books this year that we promote actually go from pre-K all the way through our young adult readers. We've got 3 young adult readers that are really excited. We're really excited about. 2 of them are part of the Illinois Reads series, so they're by Illinois authors. We have a number of Illinois authors featured in our book list this year.
Doherty spoke to our news partners at WAND-TV. The Illinois GOP is planning to end a Holocaust deniers run for Congress. Here's WTAX's Scott Mulford.
Party leaders ramping up efforts to make sure voters are aware a neo-Nazi activist and Holocaust denier who won the nomination back in 2018 is once again the Republican candidate. Apparently and successfully again, Arthur Jones failed to mention to voters his contentious views when he asked them to sign petitions allowing him to appear on the ballot in the upcoming March primary. Illinois GOP bosses say they are planning an awareness campaign that could include digital advertising, Facebook, or mailers ahead of the primary. Democrat Dan Lipinski currently serves Illinois' suburban 3rd Congressional District. Scott Mulford, WTAX News.
A nonprofit teacher training program is using a $750,000 addition to the state budget to speed up certification to address a rampant teacher shortage. Golden Apple is recruiting college students not studying education and professionals with bachelor's degrees seeking a career change to join accelerators. It provides a $30,000 stipend and year-long on-the-job training in a school with high teacher vacancies. Len Rideout, WTAX News.
That was Joan Osborne, St. Teresa, from a couple of years back. One thing you can certainly never do on commercial radio is repeat the same song within an hour. Something you could possibly get away with on community radio is play the same song twice in a row, if it was a good enough song. Well, we're going to try that here and just see what happens. The same exact song, Music in the Key of Life, St. Teresa. This is Joan Osborne.
From the WTAX News Center, I'm Len Rideout. Here's what's happening. Pearl Harbor remembrances played out Saturday, including at Lake Springfield. One speaker Saturday was Bobby Edwards, a district commander for the Veterans of Foreign Wars of Illinois.
78 years ago, the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Empire of Japan woke a sleeping giant, and was both tested and both the will of American people like never before, and produced what we call the greatest generation.
And John Begay, exalted ruler of the Elks Lodge 159, which hosted Saturday's event, announced you'll notice some changes next time you go to the USS Arizona site in Hawaii.
Just by donations raised throughout the country at Elks Lodges, all of the plaques and signage at Pearl Harbor will be renewed and paid for by the Elks Lodges.
The ceremony included a wreath toss into the lake 78 years after the day that will live in infamy. Federal officials are investigating whether the Chicago Cubs' ongoing $1 billion renovation of Wrigley Field provides adequate wheelchair access. The Cubs have filed notice of the review in Chicago federal court, where the team is defending itself against a lawsuit filed by a wheelchair user who alleges the stadium's seating doesn't meet Americans with Disabilities Act standards. A team attorney said in a letter to the judge that the Cubs believe the renovation has significantly increased accessibility in the 105-year-old stadium. I'm Len Rideout, News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM WTAX, Springfield's #1 local news.
Back to the Music in the Key of Life politics desk. This is Trump supporter Roseanne Barr on Jimmy Kimmel.
20 years, right?
Uh-huh.
You ran for president during that time?
Yeah.
I mean, you...
Music there from David Meese from his album Candle in the Rain here on WEZE. David Meese will be in concert with Kim Boyce and Morgan Cryer, and I'm not sure who else, on October the 9th up at Gordon College during their homecoming festivities. For more information, you can always call the music line, 770-3030. Use that phone number as well if you'd like to get a request in now for Sandy Patty or any of the other artists we play on Saturday afternoon as we swing into some more music from Sandy Patty. My name is Lenny. This is Music in the Key of Life, some of the best music around. That's what we play here on WEZE on Saturday afternoons. This first one that we're going to play in our Sandy Patty set is once again from the album Morning Like This.
News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM, WTAX, Springfield. A Capital Radio Group station.
A 73-year-old priest has been charged with the death of an Illinois teacher. Good morning, I'm Len Rideout. That story coming up. Plus, the brother of a deceased Decatur man has been arrested. Those stories and more follow a real news, real reporting CBS update on News Radio 1240 and 93.5 FM WTAX. This morning, cloudy skies. Eventually, some rain will develop, the low of 46. Springfield's number one. Local news is next. It's 10 a.m.
Is CBS News on the Hour.
This is Music in the Key of Life. I'm your host, Leonard, here every Thursday from 10 to 1 here on 88.3. There are links to my podcasts on my website, boston.yolasite.com. Boston spelled B-A-H-S-T-O-N .yolasite, YOLASITE.com. If you missed writing that down, you can always text me, 416-9393, area code 217. That's 217-416-9393. Music there from The Offspring, from their album Smash, that was Self-Esteem. Before that, 311, their song Down. Also heard 30 Seconds to Mars, Dangerous Night, Portugal the Man, Live in the Moment, and to start the set off, Muse, Thought Contagion. Music now from AJR. This is Weak.
No, thank you.
From the WTAX News Center, I'm Len Rideout. A 3-judge appeals panel is considering whether to stop the state from paying for abortions under the bill the governor signed last year. More from WTAX's Dave Dahl.
Pro-life groups, led by attorney and state representative Peter Breen, are the plaintiffs. But Breen's arguing not that they're against abortion, but that the entire budget is improper.
The backdrop is abortion. The issues are issues of fiscal sanity for the state of Illinois.
So the entire budget be tossed?
And would it really void the budget? We are only asking that the HB 40 funding be enjoined. So that's one little part of a much larger budget. That's all we're asking for.
Breen expects a ruling in a few months. At the Capitol, Dave Dahl, WTAX News.
A judge is blocking the northern Chicago suburb of Deerfield from enforcing its ban on certain semi-automatic guns. The temporary restraining order issued Tuesday by a Lake County judge came a day before the village ordinance was to take effect. The Deerfield Board voted in April to impose the ban on weapons such as the AR-15, which has been used in mass shootings. The ordinance allows fines of up to $1,000 a day. Gun rights groups filed lawsuits against the ban, arguing Deerfield officials are violating a state law that prohibits municipalities from enacting bans after 2013. Hillier Storage and Moving is sponsoring our weather forecast this hour, moving the things you love. Call 525-8550. Turning mostly sunny and less humid, a high of 85 this afternoon. Tonight, mainly clear, low around 60. Tomorrow, sunny, high in the low to mid-80s. On Friday, thunderstorms in the morning, the high around 90. Saturday, partly cloudy, high in the mid-90s. I'm Len Rideout, WTAX News, Springfield's #1 local news.
Welcome to another hour of Music in the Key of Life here on 88.3. I'm going to start out this hour with a couple songs from U2 from their album No Line on the Horizon from a few years ago. Magnificent and I'll Go Crazy If I Don't Go Crazy Tonight.